WTJOE. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? We are back for another episode of Cup of Joe with Web3 Joe. That's Web3 Job Ops and Events, your hub, home base, and headquarters for Web3 talent and recruitment. And we are back here once again, as we are every Wednesday, every Friday at usually 9:30 a.m. Pacific, 12:30 p.m. Eastern. Today we're here at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. And as always, we got a dope guest lined up. We're going to be talking how to land your dream role over coffee. Looking forward to getting into it. Shout out to Apex. I see you in the listeners. Shout out to anybody listening recording, whether that's on X, whether that's on Spotify, whether that's on YouTube. We haven't been pushing the Spotify or the YouTube too much just yet. So bonus points if you have made it over there. But we're going to go ahead and get into it. I got a lot of stuff pinned up top. The first two are just the promo tweets for this space. Then it's a couple open roles that we're looking to fill over at Web3 Job Ops and Events. And then I just spammed a bunch of posts from our guest of honor, Mr. Scott. But let me see if there's any reminders I'm forgetting. Shout out to our friends if you're out in ETH NY at any of those events. We mentioned earlier this week we had a couple side events out there if you were able to make it. And let's go ahead and get into it. We're usually here about 30, 40, 45 minutes or so. Keep it nice, tight, and brief. Get as much value as we can out of that time. And then go on about our days. But today we have none other than Mr. Scott Fu. He's the founder of Orbital Beam. He's the CEO of DPIN Daily. And he was previously with UMG, Opensea, Peaq Network, among other amazing teams. Scott, how are you doing, bro? Good to see you. Thank you for joining us. What's the word?
Hey, what up, bro? Man, glad to be here, and I love how you're doing this, man. And doing it on multiple apps. Man, this is the way you do distribution. It can't just be one lane and expecting other people to find out. About not only opportunities but everything from these jobs that you're offering to the democratization of the access that that crypto brings. So super dope. You're doing some distribution on Spotify, YouTube. Yeah, man, excited to be here, bro.
Dude, happy to have you. And yeah, appreciate that note. We're trying to be everywhere. I've been doing spaces for years, bro, and I've never touched YouTube or Spotify as much as I've seen so many creators around us just cooking. I mean, Bodagos and like the Nifty Portal team are like the number one example that I can think of because they've just been on YouTube for so long. But it actually ties into our conversation for today, too. And me and you have talked about this before of like just being visible, being present, being active on multiple channels, right? Like LinkedIn, we talk about often. It gets a hard rap here on crypto Twitter, but there's a lot of value to have a presence there, right?
Yeah, man. I've been saying it for a long time. And it was funny, like a lot of our friends were super fading it. Man, this is like back in the Web3 exposed days, like me and Profits were really trying to like get people over there. Just again, not saying like go just give up on X or give up on whatever you've built, but just use your, I guess, your Twitter clout or your Twitter power and go move over there. And it's obviously always super uncomfortable to always like have a big name on one platform and then go to another platform and you're literally starting from zero. But honestly, you're not really starting zero because we're all over there already, right? There's already people over there. There's people that, if it's not like the DGen homies, there's a lot of people from companies that that have to be on LinkedIn. Like our brother Rudo, he got Polygon, so he be on this app and that app. Gambler, you be on both. I be on both. So it's not like you're really just starting from like zero. Like we can all like go to your page and boost your co-sign what you've done in the space. Especially if we have personal relationships with you. I got no issues with that. So you use your Twitter like home your Twitter network to go build it over there. Yeah, it's so completely different. You got to like reframe your content and the I guess the not got don't got to be eloquent when you speak, but you just got to say things in a different way. But man, the opportunity over there, it's second to none. Um, and I think that if people don't want to be more open-minded about that, a lot of opportunity is going to get sucked away. Especially from the people that have been here for 5 years. There's a lot of people on this app that are more than have the background to take some of these jobs, but unfortunately, it ends up being a lot of the the people with that Web 2 resume. Maybe they did marketing at Apple or anyone at Fang. And it's very easy to plug somebody like that in, even though it's Web 3. They're not as good as you. So who better than someone that's been on DJ and crypto Twitter for the last 5 years? Some people have been here since 2017. So, imagine your eighth year, and then you got a guy that just got canned from Apple, and he's gonna come take your job for like, and these jobs are paying 250, 280, 300, 400, and this is starting. So yeah, man, I just want more people to go over there and realize the opportunity that you have, and this will never happen again, right? With all the stablecoin regulation, all the genius clarity, all the acts passing from federal to state level. This is a one shot, one time kind of thing. And again, if you miss it, you miss it, and you're going to be watching other people building that got the opportunities because they moved their distribution and content to a different app.
It's such a trip how like some of us will be so quick to like jump on a new protocol or like the latest info trend, whatever it is. But like you mentioned LinkedIn, and it's like, oh man, boomer, God forbid. Like it, and I feel like the sentiment is shifting a little bit recently. Maybe it's just my bias because I've been on there more recently. But you're right, and you provided some really solid, tangible tips on how people can leverage their success or partial success or whatever brand they've managed to build here on X and take that over to LinkedIn. And again, it's not just about LinkedIn. LinkedIn is one to talk about, but there's so many places where you can go post up shop and pretty much put up a billboard for yourself and say, hey, this is who I am, this is what I do, and this is how I can add value. And really the punchline is seek out those places, right? And then once you find them, use your network to help uplift you in those places. And then of course, return the favor, right? Uplift each other. Um, I want to ask. I usually start with this question, but I felt like the LinkedIn was just. I wanted to go into that at that moment. But can you tell us? I feel like I've heard this story before, Scott. But for people listening who may be less familiar, how did you get started in Web 3?
Oh yeah, man. Um, I always had like I always liked the whole idea of ICOs, but like obviously it didn't work out too well. But I like the idea. And I always liked the idea of Bitcoin. But at that time, I didn't know there was like, I guess, more to it, right? The underlying technology. I hate like these cliche things we always say, but I didn't know there was like, a bunch of you motherfuckers. I didn't know there was gamblers. I see Barbie down there. I see Ice, Apex. I didn't know that there was all these dope ass people that feel the same way as you, trying to, build and break shit the same way as you. And it's funny. It was during COVID that I really got sucked in. So I was running at the time because I had to close my studio. So I'm like, what kind of side hustle can I do? And my boy was one of those crazy shoe botters, and he was like, "Yo, why don't we make one of these cook group discords and you connect all your music homies?" This is like when you couldn't get the PS5s. You try to click the Walmart link during COVID. You're like, dude, they're already gone. What the fuck? So I ended up clicking up with my bot homie, and we built some bots to get PS5s. Anything that even mason jars, right? Like funny stuff like that that grandma's gonna get during COVID. We botted everything, and just randomly we would hire people that would have cooks, right? Like, so if they had the hookup on, like one guy could get you uh those factor boxes for like $7 or $10 or some shit. So we'd always hire people that had these little like cooks and hustles. And the one time this randomly guy says, "What you guys know about NFTs?" And we're just like, bro, what the fuck? Who's this guy just randomly DMs on Discord? And I said, look, bro, like I've heard about these a little bit. And this is before OpenSea, y'all. This was like Nifty Gateway days. And he's like, yo, like I'll really tell you guys which ones to buy in the cook group, and you can sell them for thousands of dollars. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. This is Clubhouse days. Uh, Dude, started going to these Clubhouse rooms, bro, and it's like watching people make six figures, right? And I didn't really understand, but I knew there was something there, Gambler. I'm like, what the fuck? Dude, people are like paying off their houses. And then it was crazy. Shout out to Paolo. He doesn't really fuck with Twitter no more. But Paolo had a room on Clubhouse called the NFT Guild with one of the most legendary collectors at the time, Amir. And they did everyone's drop, Fuocious, Banksy, Jake and Logan Paul, all those big drops that like a lot of the new people hear about now, those were all done in NFT Guild. And I was just like, damn, bro. Every celebrity is like coming to Damien Hirst. You know, I don't want to leave out artists as well. All these people were like coming in, and I'm like, what the fuck? And then boom, Twitter Spaces start, and some of us got lucky and we got beta links to host. And dude, shout out to Bunny, bro. I know he don't really be on Twitter as much anymore, but Bunny was just like, yo, bro, let's fucking start hosting these Twitter space things. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I'll be the host. Like, just pull up. And so, like, Crypto Painter, he had just left doing like Mandalorian and a bunch of other shit. So a bunch of us. Oh, Illa, shout out Illa. I can't forget about brother Illa. A lot of us that were connected in Web 2 just started jumping on spaces together. So we started jumping on bunnies. Gambler, do you remember there was like marketing spaces back then, like how to market your project? Me and Illa would always jump on those. And then like a lot of people who've left, like DJ Sam, Lowly, Wookie, Flosserdamus, a lot of the DJs that you guys know, like, you know, from Web 2, they were all here too, trying to figure out, like, what could we build in music. And shout out Floss. This is a history lesson for everybody. Floss actually made one of the sickest NFTs of all time. It's about 5 years ago. He made a fucking vape pen that you fucking plugged in. And so you plug the vape or the vape pen into your computer with a USB, and that unlocked the NFT. But then there was this other fun part. It was an address to a give a wallet, take a wallet, give a penny, take a penny wallet on MetaMask. And there was like $20 in there. So if you were short on gas and you own the NFT, you could like borrow money from this little fucking. It was just a funny ass utility. Obviously, someone ended up taking the rest of the fucking money out. But it just showed me like, damn, Floss is a fucking platinum DJ, and he made musical NFTs that were connected to a fucking USB drive that could be used as a vape pen that also had a give a penny, take a penny MetaMask wallet connected. And I was just like hooked, gambler. I was like, dude, there's so many parallel markets that could be like attached to this. Now, obviously, a lot of this stuff in music didn't work out, but that's what really just sank my teeth in. And boom, go start doing Twitter Spaces with Morgan and Bunny, Illa, Ashley, Jonah. It's funny, everyone ended up doing some cool shit. But that was like the original crew. Oh, Profits as well. And yeah, man, I ended up doing really well, and that kind of gave me my legs. Like, damn, bro, I could really do something that's not music and entertainment. And then that led me to the Opensea job. And that's kind of how I got my feet, bro.
Man, Scott, let me find out you were the reason my grandma couldn't get no mason jars in 2020, bro. That's crazy work. But you just you just gave us a whole lot of lore, bro. Some of it I was more there for, some of it I was not. I was not there for Clubhouse. So super OGs. That if you hear somebody say Clubhouse days, that's super OG. That's before there was even Twitter Spaces, and then Spaces added the feature and pretty much took over that market, as so happens with social media teams. But I wasn't here for when Spaces first dropped. I don't remember the beta code. That's crazy. That's news to me. I never actually knew there was even beta code, but it makes sense because that's how Twitter rolls things out. And then the touch on like the music, I think there's a lesson there too, man. Like, I want to ask, like, how much do you contribute like your Web 2 experience? Obviously you come from the music world. How much did that experience, because I think it's valuable and relevant for people to consider. I think too often we come here to Web 3 and there's this notion that like it's Web 3 and it's not Web 2, it's different, right? But I think your story shed some light on like your experience in Web 2 helped you see the vision and helped it click for you in your head as to what was happening. So can you speak a little bit on that, like how your Web 2 experience has contributed to your success in Web 3?
Yeah, man. I'll be real honest. Like, music has the most bullshitters in the fucking world, bro. Well, I'm not just gonna be mean to music. We'll just say Hollywood, um, period, right? LA, period. It's a different beast. It's like New York City. Like, you make it in New York and LA, you can fucking make it literally anywhere. The thing about the music game is everybody, it's superficial. It's like everybody wants to fuck with you because either I worked with Akon or whoever the fuck it was, right? So there's always this like everything is fake, bro. Literally every single fucking relationship, even people you work with for 5 years, the only reason why you're really rocking is because, obviously you want to be able to get something from a relationship, but it becomes like a leech relationship. And that's why you see a lot of producer groups fall out. You see fucking music bands, doesn't matter if you're rock to rap, you end up falling out. And that part really helped me decipher, and also obviously being in Silicon Valley and fucking dealing with bullshit is here my whole life. But it helped me kind of zero in my bullshit detector. So we'll start there. So, Gambler, I've always been the one that go against the grain, whether it was um, calling out Shillin Villain, Murad, all these people, right? Nothing personal, but it's like, bro, I know what motherfuckers be on before a lot of other people know what they be on. And it's like every person I've ever said, like, yo, dude, you know, there's only like 10 personalities in this world, and this guy's one of these guys are ones that you don't want to really tap in with. I haven't been wrong, right? So that side, it's really helped me. The business side, the business development side, it's really helped because it's really easy to connect like collectibles, right? So before music, I worked at Funko um, during the Funko Pop craze. So digital collectibles, same thing as physical, right? A Funko Pop collector is probably going to collect NFTs and anything digital because they already collect physical things like myself. You guys see my collectibles room. I'm a sick fuck. So it was very easy to kind of recognize how the community works because Funko, when I was the president of Funko Fiends, it was like being like helping the executive team on an NFT project, right? It's the same kind of, not everyone's introverted, but most collectors, they don't go fucking rage party every night. They're most are low key. Then there's the anon part of Web3 and collectors, that there's collectors the same way in Web2. They don't want to be known because maybe they have really expensive collections, or they just, they move better anonymously. So that's another thing that was very similar and easy to kind of not command community, but grow them and kind of let OpenSea know this is what works in Web 2. Obviously, Web 3, we're building the plane as we're flying it now, but dude, I don't give a fuck what no one says. Web 3 is just a tech stack that fortifies Web 2, which is where we're at now. And even if you want to break it down to mathematics, Web 2 to Web 3 is 33% difference. The world's not ready for that. Gambler, you were ready, I was ready, Barbie was ready, Apex ready, Dog, Son, and we was all ready. Like we understand the task at hand, but my grandma will never be like Ready Player One world, right? Like whatever that utopian vision is in the future, that's just not what it is. So I feel like all this cool technology you're seeing now, RWA, stable coins, tokenized collateral settlements, fucking um, putting agricultural on chains, thing like this, that's what traditional finance in the world already understands, right? Like, so there's not really a pivot. You're just like, yo, all these extra walnuts from the California Walnut Association, they fucking sit in a warehouse. Why don't we tokenize them? Now you have fucking liquidity, and now we can help you move them in like a walnut DAO or whatever the fuck it is. They're not just sitting there as a overcooked, overstock. And you can do this with everything, right? So Web 2 is the same as Web 3. I don't know why we made Web 3 so fucking front facing. Like, my grandma's never gonna say, the TPS on Solana, I'm not too sure. I'm not going to use that chain. No, man. Does it make her life easier? Does it democratize access to something? Does it make something more accessible, faster? Does it make you money? That's all regular ass people care about. And what's funny now is a lot of these people who did kind of do well in tokens, they're realizing the end user is a Web 2 person and they probably don't want a token. They want some AirPods. They want a gift card to Walmart, or if it, gift card to Kylie Jenner fucking store. And we can go on and on and on. And now it's funny you're seeing some of these D pins instead of just having, you know, their coin as the reward. It's those types of rewards. So again, Web3 is a really cool tech stack, but we went wrong by making it front facing. So it's easier you can connect it to your regular life in Web2, whatever you do. I think the easier time that you'll have here.
Yeah, Web3 is just a tech stack. It's so true, and it's said, fairly often, but there's just so much culture and so much new opportunity, I guess, that comes with this specific evolution of technology that sometimes it can be easy to forget that it's a tech stack, it's a tool, right? It's something that makes our lives better based on what we were already cooking up before, right? It's not this entirely new universe that we're stepping into, and nothing we know before is going to have any value. So, really appreciate the way you put that. For
And
people,
Gambler, real
go
quick,
ahead.
dude.
Yeah.
Just a quick fact. I just found this out day before yesterday. Bro, 75% of Coinbase volume now is institutional. So again, all that mass onboarding bullshit. Hey, we're gonna I learned when Trump's the most polarizing character on planet Earth, no matter what you this has nothing to do with politics. This is about polarizing characters. Bro couldn't even onboard everybody, right? So it's like the most polarizing fucking human being on earth that everybody knows, or most people know, couldn't onboard everybody to Web3. So what makes me think Taylor Swift or any, remember all these names that gambler people throwing out? Wait till Taylor Swift comes, wait till Trump comes, wait till fucking, it was always this like NBA young boy, all these people like, no, bro, like look at what stable coins are doing. One bank gets onboarded, is 35 million users are now in Web3, but it's boring, right, Gambler? It's not that Trump story. It's not the Taylor Swift onboarding everyone. So that's why, like, again, I feel like it's just a tech stack at this point, right? Like, it's just maybe this tech stack, when you mix it with quantum and the intersection of AI, it becomes this other thing we don't know yet. But for now, man, let's just like let's not muddy the water. And I feel like stable coins don't muddy the water. Real world assets, you're literally you're tokenizing something in the real world. So all these things that are kind of like taking the fuck off, it's because they make sense to regular people that you're trying to get to use the tech stack, right? We're not trying to fucking speak Chinese algebra and get you to use it. We're just like, yo, we're fortifying what you already do. Like I think that's a new way we should explain Web3. Like instead of going, oh yeah, bridging and layer zero and all this confusing shit, go look, no matter what sector it is, garbage even, right? Like voluntary recycle credits are out. Yo, garbage man, instead of confusing you about crypto, dude, what if I told you there's a way that you can invest in recycling and make a bunch of fucking money? Like, bro, bankers gonna be like, what? Let me hear about this, right? But we all get like our nerd hats on and we go, yeah, so what you're gonna do is download Coinbase. Then you're gonna download this thing called MetaMask. You're gonna want to do the on and off ramp through like, and then they're gone. Like a lot of people, even in entertainment, bro, gambler, like they don't even use Cash App, but we expect motherfuckers just to pick up all these different apps, farm airdrops, fucking figure out what things aren't on testnet, and dude, it's too much even for smart ass motherfuckers like my brother. He has Bitcoin and ETH, builds lenses for missiles, smartest fucker I know, and he's like, dude, that shit's crazy, bro. Like bridging and all this stuff, like I'm cool with that. I'll DCA ETH and I'll DCA Bitcoin. So yeah, I just wanted to add that little part in there, man.
70% of volume on Coinbase is institutional. That's what you said. That's
Yeah, now, yeah. So 75% is all of like the quote unquote people that we were like, nah, let's not let the bankers in. But what happened, gamblers? It's like when your parents leave for vacation, they go, Gambler, Scott, we trust you, sons. We're gonna give you the keys to the house. We're gonna go. We're even gonna go to Costco for you. Buy $1,000 worth of groceries. Just hold it down. No parties. Me and gamblers start doing the Birdman hand rub right when parents leave. We know they're at the airport. We have an eraser, and it's like almost like the government saw the same thing. Let's let these motherfuckers cook, and we fucked it all up. We start rugging each other, fucking scamming each other, giving money to Ben.eth, bro. Like, bro, man, I'm gonna start bringing these stories back for the new classes. Ben.eth. Remember the meta when people would just send wallets money, and you didn't know if like you was gonna get something or not. Like the government, everybody, the feds saw us do all this shit. We're like, yeah, bro, look, it's time for us to come in. And that's what's happening now. This is why, like, again, the Clarity Act, all these acts fucking are passed now. And it's like now 25% of the mass onboarders and meme coin and InfoFi and what's the latest shit this week? I don't know. But that's not the volume. It's not Machi. It's not fucking Dingling and all these people that we used to worship in 2021, bro. That shit's over. It's fucking JP Morgan doing fucking financial products with Coinbase, and we can go on, and Barclays doing collateral settlements with fucking BlackRock. Like, but again, this shit doesn't make it on Twitter, bro, which it kind of just fucks it up for the bigger picture, I think. And then it kind of smashes the dream of like, damn, I didn't know like I could be a BD at Alchemy. Like Alchemy's hiring right now for 300 grand. We all know Glenn. Glenn's the homie of all of ours. But I'm like Glenn, like there's two of those jobs I think they're hiring for. And that should be somebody from Twitter, man.
So for people listening, things are shifting, right? We had the Genius Act. I think the Genius Act officially passed, and I think the Clarity Act, we're waiting on it to pass either the House or the Senate. Things are shifting. Banks are, buying ETFs. Things are happening fast. For people listening, how can they maximize their opportunity and hopefully either get started working in the space or advance their career in the space?
All right, I'm about to just get, I'm not a gatekeeper gambler. This is what I said on Web3 Exposed, Daily Alpha. I've said this a million times. It's so simple. So LinkedIn, they give you 100 outbounds, meaning you can send 100 friend requests. Think of it like that. I can send, and they're called connections, right? So you can follow somebody on LinkedIn or you can connect with them, right? Always connect, because that means like you're friends and you see each other's things. So what I did, this was right when I left Opensea. I was like, dude, what the fuck should I do now? I'm a BD. Let me just put my BD hat. I have no product to sell, right? Because a lot of you are not going to have a job or a job in Web3 yet when you start this. So whatever industry you work in or you come from, right? Whether it's fucking retail, like it could be any of these. There's no one better than you that knows the fucking problems in Web2 that blockchain and AI can solve. So say you are from supply chain. It's this simple. You go to that search bar on LinkedIn, just start typing your favorite supply chain companies. Maybe it's the one you work for, Sealand. We can go on and on and on. And then put business developer or any kind of job that you want to be connected to that person. So for me as a BD, I would write Caterpillar, whatever supply chain type companies or companies that supply the tools. I put that up there and put BD for one search, strategic partnerships for another search, and then just start adding. Every Sunday it reloads the 100 people. Now you take the 100 people that you tried to connect with, you maybe got 80. It's the old 100-person rule. Out of those 80, you're gonna fucking send them all a simple ass message, bro. And you can even use ChatGPT. Hey man, I'm a business developer in this space. I see you work here. I'm in the blockchain space. I would love to just jump on your call. I have nothing to sell you. Always put that in. I just want to jump on this call. Guarantee you're going to get 2 to 3 of those calls off top, right? Now compound this at 400 outbounds a month in your first month. Now you're at about 20 fucking calls with, it could be Red Bull, it could be the Lakers, it could be, we can go on and on. This is how I met all the McDonald's. We can go on and on. Now there might not be something on that call. 99% once they have that call, there probably isn't going to be like, so don't think like, oh, I jumped on a call with McDonald's, I'm going to get a call. You just put this in 80s babies. We used to call it a Rolodex. Like you put it in your phone book. Now, maybe 2 months from now, you see Pudgy Penguins. They're doing something that, that seems like it could connect to one of your plugs. Then you hit up the Pudgy team. Yo, look, Pudgy's, I'm doing this thing with supply chain. I really think, Pudgy's IP can come in on this play. And then you shoot your shot. And you do this every month and it compounds, bro. Just like when you're investing, right? When you get that $100,000 and then the network kind of starts cooking for you. Then you got the alchemies, and then all these Web3 sides know that you have these Web2 connections and you can kind of be that bridge in between. And for me, I did this for 2 years now straight. Bro, I had zero followers on LinkedIn, and I hit like almost 4,000 now, which ain't shit. But those 4,000 are all specific sectors, BDs of that I looked for, and then I connected and jumped on calls with. So as dumb as this sounds, bro, there's no out. It's not alpha. It's no secret sauce. It's literally sending 100 friend requests, and then cool, bro. Like 30 accepted. Let me reach out to these 30. Same generic message. Yo, I work in the blockchain, and always add AI in there. It's just for the selling part, right? Because at the end of the day, gambler, what pisses me off about Web3, People want to say they're BD and business development. Motherfucker, you're a salesman. That's what business development is. But in Web3, we always take that part out. No, you're a fucking salesman. Be proud, motherfucker. You're selling a fucking new technology, a new fucking access. Like, but people want to hide in Web3 and say, I'm a business developer. No, you're a fucking salesman, like a car salesman, a fucking real estate agent. You're a salesman of Web3. And the quicker that you can understand that and put that hat on, the faster you get to fucking cooking. And again, now think when you hit the thousands of outbounds, right? And you're going to hit this in less than 6 months. This isn't a long ass thing. You can literally start Friday night, it's tonight, and if you finish by tomorrow just sending the outbounds, you have another 100 on Monday. So you could really kind of like double up on the weekend. Go, fuck, dude, it's a long week. Let me send out 100 outbounds Friday and Saturday. Sunday, your 100 reload. Do it again. Do it again, do it again. And I bet you could DM me and be like, yo, Sky, I did the fucking 100 fucking person outreach. Bro, now I fucking met Hasbro. I met fucking, Sayer Collectibles. I met fucking Mattel. Bro, I'm gonna hit you up. I'll be like, guess what, bro? I already work with Funko. What we doing, bro? And that's how, ask Gambler. This is literally how I work. What are we doing? And literally what I just told you, you will see a top 20 Fortune company deal I just did with one of the top IPs in this space. So it works. I've done it multiple times. Did it with Rolling Loud, Loud Punks. We can go on and on. Like my shit is out there. Like I don't just tell you guys this and it doesn't work. It really works.
I'll say a couple things. First of all, like when it rains, it pours, right? And that's like, it feels like that's with good news and not so good news. But I'll say, like, in terms of like reaching out to all those people and keeping that mentality of like, okay, the expectation is, 99% of these aren't going to lead to anything. But it's also that 99%, there's a 99% chance that one of these eventually will lead to something, right? And when I say it rains, it pours, I mean when that something comes along and you have all of these connections that you've made and you've set this foundation for yourself, suddenly it can suddenly start to feel like, oh wow, now everybody's paying attention. Now I'm getting all of these opportunities, and sometimes it really does just take you establishing that network and then getting one nibble. You know what I'm saying? Again, one bite, and then somebody's like, "Oh, you did tell me you did that, but now I'm remember, and now you actually got hired." So it creates some validity in their head, and then suddenly you're in, your foot's in the door, right? Like people say. And then the other thing I'll say is like just the advice of like numbers, because that is like a sales thing, right? It's like reach out to X amount, you'll get a percentage. That's all you need. You just need a percentage. The percent, the odds of it being zero out of 100 or 200 or 300 or 400, the higher that number goes, the lower the odds of it being zero, right? And I think what that also does is it takes some of the like personal sting out of it, or even fear, because oftentimes the fear is worse than the actual sting itself. But it's like if you're just like, okay, I'm gonna reach out to 100 accounts. I'm gonna go into it expecting, a reply rate of whatever, 50 to 80%, or 50 to let's say 50%, and then I'm expecting, another 25 to 30% of those replies to actually get a call, and then just keep your expectations in check. But at the end of the day, every single call brings you closer to that next opportunity. So great points. And on that note, moving forward, now you've gotten the call and you've got an opportunity, and now it's time for the interview. For people listening, what are some tips you can share for them to be successful when they go into that interview?
Always so in Web3, people make decisions in like 3 minutes. And this is the Silicon Valley effect, like the startup fucking whatever you want to call it, startup culture. So always make sure that you're showing the value that you can bring them. So even before like I would interview, I'm a one pager addict, right? And dude, you have ChatGPT now, so people have fucking no excuse. Even if you suck at one pagers, you can literally have fucking ChatGPT make the one pager for you. But make sure you have 3 to 4 bullet points of, if it's business development, are you really good at strategic partnerships? Are you really good at closing enterprise deals? Are you very good at connecting both webs, meaning you have such a good network in Web3 that it's very easy for you with the flick of the wrist, whatever you want to call it, to connect the both webs, right? Have the, again, you don't have to have 50 things to memorize. Be like, whatever chain protocol it is, kind of look at their headwinds. And headwinds just mean like the things that are giving them either issues, problems, or tough spots, and how to turn those into tailwinds, right? How could you use your skill set to take this shit that's they're having problems with or issues with? You don't ever want to say like, what's your problem? Be like, what are your headwinds? It's very easy. And then you want to be able to show them that you have the solution for that within 2 minutes. Like, yo, and then the rest of the fucking interview is usually just like talking, right? But they'll know in the first 3 or 4 minutes, and I'm talking on the BD, kind of partnership kind of roles. They're gonna know instantly, right? Community manager is gonna be a little bit different because they're gonna judge you by, how you are on social media and stuff like that. But these kind of higher level, CMO, um, subcontract where you're almost on the executive level or like chief advisor, you want to be like, yo, these are the fucking 4 or 5 things that I can do that good luck. It's going to be really hard to find somebody else, like that, what I do. And then you want to just magnify those as big as you can. And again, don't be sad. Like, bro, like there's a lot of companies that didn't even read my messages or faded me as well. So it has nothing to do with like you yourself. Like it just sometimes motherfuckers are sick of LinkedIn messages and there's fucking people in their email and they don't want to check it. Like there's a lot of fucking things that happen. So again, like what Gambler said, play the numbers game, not the feelings game. And I again, if you really get zero, bro, like I'll fly you out for a one-on-one or something, bro. Like we'll we'll make it up to you. But I guarantee you, like what Gambler said, even in your first 100, you're not getting zero, right? Like, and then the cool thing is once you already connected with these people, here's like a quick step two is like here's a perfect example is my boy worked at Meta for a long time, but yesterday he just got promoted to the head of AR/VR at Meta. So me just knowing him, I went to his comments and we're connected. So my comment goes to the top. I'm like, yo, congrats. Like if Gambler got the job, hey, congratulations, brother. Like really proud of you. No one deserves this more. Then all the people from Meta all of a sudden see your top comment. And now you're in this whole Web 2 mixture of algorithm that you weren't in before. And then now your thread and your post starts coming up and you don't even got to be connected to those people. And then it kind of just starts spreading. And that's how the new LinkedIn algorithm works, which it'll move your stuff from Web 3 to just a regular business development feed in Web 2. And again, that also compounds. The more you know, everyone wants the engagement farm on Twitter, but you can engagement farm on LinkedIn to CEOs, CMOs, people that are hiring. And again, it doesn't even need to be for the job. It's just you're putting your name out there that these people, and it's all about the visual aspect, right? It's like not everybody gotta know what you're really doing, but if they see one of these big chains replying to you, that's a visual aesthetic that can make somebody else go, oh shit, dude, this dude's solid, like Gambler was saying earlier.
It's like it ties into what we were talking about at the beginning too, right? It's about being visible, right? And having a presence and making sure that people know who you are, what you do, and how good you are doing. And that's like not the easiest thing in the world, right? That's like a tall ask. Like who you are, that's three different things. That's who you are, what you do, and that you do it well. That's three different facts that someone could have a sense of, and fall somewhere on that spectrum. Maybe they just know your PFP, that's somewhere on that spectrum as well. But that's what needs to happen for you to even have a chance at any opportunities. Whereas we know for a fact, if they don't know who you are, if they don't know what you do, and they don't know that you do it well, you're almost definitely not going to get that opportunity unless it falls out of the sky, right? Or you wish on a lamp or something. So LinkedIn, again, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, obviously X. What are some tips, Scott, to maximizing the value you get out of your personal brand? I guess, what are some tips to building your personal brand in general, whether that be on Twitter or anywhere and just on social media in general, digitally? I guess it doesn't need to be digitally either, because showing up to IRL events, that all goes into it. So, what are some tips on establishing your personal brand in order to maximize the opportunity you get in the space?
Yeah, I think what would be probably helpful for like especially like the Spotify listeners and YouTube people is For me, I was kind of like not lost in Web3, but I tried to do too many things. And what I mean by that, it was like I was doing, and I don't regret anything, like, right? Like when we were doing on-chain TV, which at the time it was the number one Twitter space because Mario didn't exist then. That took we Gambler, you remember, we never took a day off for 380 something days, 7 p.m. to 1 in the morning, right? Which you're like, fuck, that's crazy. But when you add all those hours up, and then how tired are you by, because we didn't do Saturday or Sunday, man, you don't really got the grit for that, bro. You're like, damn, bro. I'm like, I just want to kind of chill with the kids, or whatever you do. You like whatever your hobby is. I'll just play video games this weekend. And then on top of that, I'm taking, these business development part-time roles, and then I'm helping people advise, and what happens is, bro, there's only 24 hours in a fucking day. And it wasn't until 2 years ago, shit, and Gambler, you remember this exact time, I said, you know what? I'm about to leave Web3 Exposed, like not in in a bad way. I just said, Twitter Spaces aren't really what I want to do right now. I want to focus on real world assets, real world applications. Did it fuck up my algorithm and fucked up my engagement? Oh God, dude, it destroyed it, right? But the value of meeting the Michael Saylors, the fucking DC Summit, Digital Chamber, all, bro, I will get 20 likes all day and get those opportunities, then say GM and get 300 likes and not get any of those opportunities. So I would right now, if I was coming into the space now, I would pick a niche. Don't pick a meta. And what I mean by that, like right now, like people that have been here for 4 to 5 years and longer, we've seen this over and over, right? So it was like SocialFi, Web3 gaming, fucking then it was blank to earn. We can go on and on. None of this shit and then it was taking care of the whales with Blur, and then it was the airdrops, and then it was meme coins again, and then now it's InfoFi. Um, that shit is all noise, man. When you go to DC Summit, when you go to Salt, like if anyone got the special invite to Salt next week, they don't even know who Ansem and any of these people are. And this is not a personal shot at any of these people. It's just this app gets focused on the wrong thing. And then what happens is your personal brand gets mixed in with the bullshit you're pushing. And you're seeing it now. Some of the most beloved people from 2021, 2022, 2023 are cooked, burnt, blackballed, and done. And we can go, I mean, we're not going to say any names, but these are people me and Gambler like hung out with that we cared about and had love for. And now it's like, yeah, I could love you from afar, but I can't even mention your fucking name when somebody asks me about a KOL, a BD, and it's fucked up. So just be very careful. And for me, you know, RWA was the easiest way to like not attach to any of that, right? Yeah, it's been a long 2 year road, but damn, I'm glad I fucking took this long ass hard road before RWA even had a name because it ended up paying off. So now there's really no stablecoin like experts on fucking crypto Twitter, bro. And again, I'm not saying go be a stablecoin expert, but there's a lot of niches that there's nothing being talked about, and it's only being talked about on LinkedIn. So again, it goes back to what do you do in your regular life? Do you work in retail? Do you work fucking in construction? What do you do, bro? Like whatever, or ladies, anyone in between, what do you do? And then how could you find a headwind in what you do and apply that into the technologies that we have now, and then build your brand on that? Be the fucking supply chain guy. Be the guy that's like Vodafone and all these people are hitting up Sealand because you're the Web3 guy. And then like me, now all RWAs, whether it's tokenizing satellites to fucking emeralds to nano gold yesterday to nuclear isotopes, it goes, I'm getting a lot of those calls, right? I'm getting that opportunity to be like, okay, do we want to take this on at Orbital Beam or not? So front run the space right now. And what I mean by that, military tech. We can say, let's see what else I think is. Oh, tokenized robotic labor arbitrage, meaning all these machines, robots, and androids. Why are we going to let everybody else own them? Let's own them, tokenize, and share the fucking workload. So me and Gambler own a figure robot. We send him to Hyatt Hotel. He folds fucking 24 hours straight. Me, Gambler, Barbie, Apex, we all own a fucking fraction of that robot. We check our dashboard and see what we made on the folding towel robot that was at height all day. This hasn't even hit fucking Twitter yet at all. Like, this is not even being talked about, but there's already Ex Machina, there's machine DAOs. Like, again, this is already going on, but unfortunately, it's like you can't 100x this shit overnight. But there's tokenized vertical farms. Like, there's all these things that you can front run every single KOL on any of these airdrop lists, on any of these Kaido lists, and cook them. You can literally spank them right now, but you just got to pick a niche and fucking stick to it. And it's really hard. Don't get me wrong. Me and Gambler always get those DMs. Yo, can you push this coin? I'll give you an ETH. I'll give you 5 ETH. And I'm like, damn, bro, I could pay off my Tesla with that or whatever it is, right? We all get them, but you got to stay strong, bro, or you're going to end up like a lot of the people me and Gambler came up with. And you're cooked, you're blackballed, you're blacklisted. You can't you'll never get a job. And LinkedIn knows. LinkedIn was taking shots at KOLs yesterday about the Stripe L1 because there was a time when KOL, some of your favorite ones that are still around, would say all of these companies are going to use Solana, ETH, AVAX, all the chains that are out. And what are you seeing? Circle said, fuck no, we're going to make our own chain. Stripe, fuck no, we're going to make our own chain. JP Morgan, Onyx turned into Kinesis, save $20 million on collateral settlements alone. So you think Bank of America, this is what I was saying on Daily Alpha yesterday, you think Bank of America, Citibank, Wells Fargo, they're just going to let JP Morgan fucking save $20 million and they're not going to do it? Amazon tokenizing receivables. You think Walmart's not going to do that? You think Target's just going to sit and fucking twiddle their toes? Fuck no.
Picking a niche is really good advice, because you can get excited. And I think there's positivity in that too, right? It's like you're excited, and it shows passion for you to want to be in so many different places. But it's just not feasible. And your point about being the guy is it, man. Like, you want to be the guy. You want to be the RWA guy. You want to be the spaces guy. You want to be the events guy. You want to be the recruiting guy. You want to be the guy or gal, obviously, but you want to be that person. And again, it ties into that establishing your foundation, letting people know who you are, what you do, and that you do it well. Those three things will at least put you in consideration. Whereas if you don't have one of those, you're almost never, ever going to be in consideration. We got just a few more minutes left. Oh, and also, I appreciated your point on the reputation angle, because I think this is something that people have different viewpoints, and I think it's fair here on crypto Twitter, where there is that sentiment, and it's a truth in a sense of, like, we have the memory of a goldfish, right? And anything that happens in this space, it's still the Wild West, and people can scam one day and be on the timeline, getting love the next day. I still think that's true, but I have faith and believe it more in what you just said, Scott. And I think it's just a matter of the space maturing, that people do remember, man. And I think a lot of the people that do matter, and not that anybody matters more than anyone else, but I mean, in terms of your specific goals, I think the people that can help you get there, I think they do care. I think a lot of them do care. And I think we want to work with teams and people who do care too, right? I mean, I guess I'll speak for myself. I want to work with people who do care, who pay attention, who remember what happened in 21 and 22, and take note, and want to work with people who also remember, right? And it's not about blackballing. It's not about canceling. It's really about practicality, bro. On like the most basic level, it's just like, bro, how am I supposed to work with you if you're drama? Nobody wants that. So, great points. And I'll try to squeeze in one or two more questions before we get out of here. Ice World, I see you. Sunwind, Moon, Barbie, Apex. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. We'll be live for another few minutes if anybody wants to jump up. But let's see. Negotiating, Scott. This is something that a lot of people just skip this part, don't know how to do it, scares them. And a lot of people are so grateful, which is awesome, and excited for their new opportunity in Web3, that they neglect to negotiate. So can you give us any advice on how to be successful when it comes time to negotiate your offer?
Yeah, so learn from Scotty's mistakes. Never take tokens pre-launch, unless, and dude, I don't even want to say unless, because there's like less than like 10 fucking examples. Obviously, if you were working at Hyperliquid or something pre-DGE, or fucking, but the thing with even that, right? So I don't want to use fucking just Hyperliquid, but say it was another chain. The thing with these are, even if you do get a good retainer every month, they'll offer you a token, but the shitty thing is sometimes your unlock isn't for 6 months. Sometimes it ain't for 9, or sometimes even 12. And what that means is you don't get none of that token until that time ends, and then you get like sometimes a monthly unlock, a quarter unlock. But you can look at my bio right now. I don't want to, call anything out and fuck what I'm doing up. But a company I used to work for that's in my bio, so it's not really hard fucking rocket science. You guys know I did a lot of things for them, got a lot of enterprise partnerships, took them to the moon. But when my contract was ended, I didn't want to re-sign and build and wanted to build Orbital Beam. Even though the token was at 3 billion, when I left, the shit's at like 200 million now, and that unlock doesn't happen until November for me. So again, like you could fucking do everything right, but the market could have a different fucking answer. So the first part is always um, on the token negotiation, make sure that you are trying to do USDC, fucking money, cash, whatever first. The other thing is too, I want to stick up for companies as well. What I really get sad about in this space is the opportunity is very underappreciative, meaning some Discord managers get like 2,500 to like $5,000 a month, and it's like that's the regular like pay. In California right now, there's like devs that fucking can't even get a job at like 50 grand a year. And I feel like a lot of people don't appreciate the opportunity. And I'm not saying everybody. I'm saying a lot of people I see, they're just like always think there's something new. Like this isn't regular life. This is very rare. Like you don't just get a $60,000 job at an entry level for fucking tweeting and playing around in Discord, bro. That's fucking crazy. So I want to see more people like go, damn, dude, this company, and a lot of these companies guys are getting paid for are bootstrapped. So I don't think some people really often think like, dude, bro, I'm getting $5,000 a month, and this is coming from their like pension or their 401k or their fucking savings for their kids' schooling. They're really trying to bootstrap because they believe in you. They believe in what you could possibly do for them. And it really makes me sick when I see a lot of these big ass KOLs like take these 10,000 a month retainers knowing they're going to do absolutely nothing, but they maybe need their bills covered for, the next 3 months. They go, oh, dude, it's 30 grand. That should also get spread too. A gambler will tell you, like, people talk. People will literally be like, and some of the biggest quote unquote KOLs can't really get hired now because they just burnt too many people over the years. So be very appreciative, especially a startup, right? If it's a startup that's bootstrapping, that means they fucking believe in you and your skill set. So, dude, like, even for me, like, when I was working at Peaq, bro, it was my background on my screensaver. I'm not saying you got to do all this, but I'd wake up every day and go, damn, bro, they're giving me this crazy retainer and the token. Obviously, the token shit didn't work out, but at the time, I was like very appreciative to have such a retainer because in Web 2, dude, I would have had to have a top Billboard 100 hit to get a contract like that. Just to put it in perspective for people to know like how much contract's worth, I would literally have had a fucking top 100 hit to get one retainer that I do in Web3. And then I guess the final part would be fair to yourself because they're on the other side, people will also try to lowball you, right? So always, if you're negotiating for like a protocol or a chain and it's not a startup, you can aim high. Like if you're only maybe worth $6,000 a month, start off the conversation at 8,500, or like nothing crazy. Be like 20 grand a month because then they're just gonna be like, fuck this guy's crazy. But just throw a little bit over, and you will really be surprised how many people will be like, okay, we'll give you 7,250 a month, and you're like, oh shit, I just came up on an extra band. Times that by 12, you just came up on 12 bands, which is like a lot of the tax burden. And then the last part, your taxes. Don't be like Scott and wait to the end. Do the quarterly thing. So like say you got a yearly job, a yearly contract, do the quarterly. It sucks that you're paying like 4 grand every quarter, but it's better than fucking at the end of the year you made like 80 grand and you got to give and end up cashing out your ETH or your Bitcoin or some shit you don't want to fucking cash out, which I had to do. It fucking sucks. So yeah, if I could teach you guys anything, those are pretty much like the pillars I would really stick by.
So you said number one when it comes to negotiating, it was understand that we get to be here, right? I love that. That was huge, man. I love that perspective. It's like and I, that comes up regularly on this show too. It's like we get to be here, bro. And like, all this stuff that we talked about over this last hour or so now of like reaching out to people in the DMs and like contact people on LinkedIn. That's something that it's not as prominent like in Web 2, right? So we could look at that and be like, wow, this is something that, yeah, it's something that, okay, you have to do if you want to get where you want to get to, but you also get to do it. And then you end up in, some pretty cool roles if this is something you're passionate about. So that's huge. And then number two, like, don't sell yourself short. Always understand the value, understand yourself, have self-awareness, see where you've added value, what you were paid, do your research around like what the gig is paying, even though sometimes in Web3 it can be a little harder to kind of get those solid numbers, but that's where your network comes in as well. And then what was your last point, Scott, on negotiating? You said,
Oh, your value for yourself. Always aim a
yeah,
little bit.
yeah.
Always aim a little bit higher.
There you go. Man, dude, you have given us so much game over this last hour. I think this is one of our longer ones we've done, Scott, but it's always a pleasure every time we're able to share a stage. Um,
Oh,
you're doing,
gambler, bro! I forgot about the biggest cook out of alpha for this.
go ahead.
If there's something that you love, like you wake up every day, like say it's RWA, you're like, dude, I believe in this shit, especially for we keep talking about supply chain. Find out, go hit up Healy Labs, go hit up anyone doing supply chain shit in Web3 and be like, look, hey man, I just want to introduce myself. I work for fucking Sealand or whatever it is. I really love what you're doing. I know there might not be an open spot, a paid opportunity right now, but dude, I'm here to sweep the floor. Not literally, like not sweeping like the collection or like using a broom. When you say sweep the floor, they like I'm from Oakland, so that's saying like, oh, this motherfucker want to get down. He wants to fucking do. He just wants to get in the door. And for me, like at Peaq, bro. So Peaq was not hiring. There was like 8 people that were there. But I said, yo, you don't got an ambassador program. What's up? Can I be the lead ambassador? I'll put this shit on my back. And they were like, who the fuck is this crazy American? 3 months later, I ended up going to fucking eat Denver on their behalf. I come back to that full-time contract. So again, bro, like I didn't even know that was going to lead to a job, but I just believed in DeepIn, so much. And the machine to machine economy, I just hit up the founders like, yo, what's up, bro? This is what I do. Check out my post. I post about supply chain, DeepIn, RWA. And dude just kept fucking going in Discord, which was weird because I don't fuck with Discord, just being annoying in there, just putting my name everywhere. And then boom, ended up being the lead ambassador and then getting a fucking job after Eat Denver 2 years ago. So yeah, man, that's the last piece. I would say just like if it's something you really love and believe in, bro, just hit him up and be like, yo, I'm just here to help, bro. You need something retweeted? Send it to me. I got you. You don't always have to be transactional because when you're non-transactional, it end up leading to something transactional.
Yeah, and unless people like take their guard down, right, and kind of like actually get to know who you are, what you're doing. There, you mentioned it earlier. It's like you don't want to be in a relationship, professional or otherwise, where you get nothing out of it. But if all you want out of it is something, that's not a good place to be either, right? And people can sense it and people can feel it. And people don't want to work with those kinds of people. They want to work with people who are genuinely passionate. And the good news is if you're here listening, the odds are, I mean, I would bet that anybody in this room right now listening, hopefully listening on Spotify or YouTube as well, you have some passion, right? That's the only reason you're listening to this. You have some passion for the space, and so you should let that be your guide and your North Star. It's not this huge, big ask where it's like, find something that you don't care about at all and be passionate about that. No, it's like follow the path you're already on. Scott, you're doing orbital beam now. Can you tell us a little bit about orbital beam and how we can support you?
Yeah, man. So Orbital Beam is a network intelligence consortium for anyone building in real world applications. So, 2 things that we do. One, on the Web3 side, we help founders after they go 0 to 1 find their way in Web2, meaning is it data offloading? Is it enterprise partnerships? Is it access to government pilot programs? Anything that can make their idea and product available in the real world and accrue value back to the Web3 side. Meaning, a lot of Web3 deals are just they look really cool in tweets and really cool on the website. Meaning, nothing really gets done. No value goes to the token. No value goes to any of the users. So that's one of the biggest things we do. The other thing is the Web2 side. So we take our Web2 partners and we walk them through the right ways to come use AI and blockchain, right? Not everything needs to be on chain. Some things can be on chain, off chain. Some things could be both. And then we do that in three ways. So the first thing is access to symmetry. So unlocking high leverage rooms before other people know they exist. As anyone knows, proximity is the only scarce capital. So proximity to Washington, D.C., proximity to Silicon Valley. So we can access these high level rooms before anyone else knows they exist. The other thing, obviously, now, regulatory intelligence. So we turn jurisdictional insight into product advantage and institutional trust. Policy insurgents always outperform tech insurgents. And then the last, I guess, pillar bucket is obviously networking power. So we leverage reputational capital and trust markets to drive coordination and scale. And again, just like policy outperforms tech, social infrastructure always will precede technical infrastructure.
Boom, there you go. And how can the people support? I just pinned up a tweet from Orbital Beam, so make sure you follow, tap in. But are there any other ways that people can get involved and support?
Yeah. We're actually going to start an ambassador program where we give you straight up fucking money. So we're invite only. Say you work for a protocol, like you work at NE or you work at any of these, you're ambassador to anywhere, and you end up getting them in Orbital Beam, bro, you're getting 20% of the fucking cut. Fat that day, that straight DN. Here you go. So we're gonna build a whole program off this shortly. So we'll have a lot more information coming out. But yeah, it's not really ambassador. You're really a BD for us. So and then also you'll get a free membership because this is a membership based company. So you'll be able to tap into all of our Web2 partners. Obviously everyone that's in Web3. And we're really lucky, man. We get to work with Tron, Polygon, Digital Chamber, Coin Market Cap, some other members you guys might know. And then Web2 side, we got everyone from Warner Music Group to Nipsey Hussle's Burger Stand. We just signed Marathon Burger. So yeah, man, really cool things popping up for Web3 and Web2, and the what I like to call it Web 2.5.
Love to hear it, brother. You know what it is. Rooting for Orbital Beam, rooting for you as always. And shout out to all the dope collaborators that you've had come on to Orbital Beam already. I know you're cooking. And again, goes into everything we talked about for the last hour. It's like you're no stranger to the space. People get that. People trust you. And it's showing now in the success and the future success of Orbital Beam. So, Scott, dude, you're a legend. Every time I hit you with the call, you always answer it every single time, and it means the world every single time, brother. Shout out to you for being here. Any final thoughts before we get up out of here?
No, man. I guess the only thing is, I think too, you got my wheels going. I think I want to I don't know if it'll be a chat, a Telegram group, or maybe both. But if you're interested in business development, being a connector, or if you're already a connector, yeah, man, I would love to help anybody up, man, non-transactional, because I know anyone that I help in BD, it comes back around, and then me and you will be doing some deals, in a few months. So, yeah, so bachelor program, always be on my ass about when I start that, and then yeah, I'm gonna think of Gambler. Let's jump on a call this week and think of like what we could do on some like business development, educational slash network slash fuck up all the fake KOLs.
Easy, bro. Yeah, I'll hit you right after this, and I mean, yeah, I can walk you through exactly how we do it over here at Web3 Job Ops. But I know whatever you come up with, whether it's a Telegram or whatever, you're going to add a ton of value just because you are like one of those people that just knows people, right? I think you'd be in a really good position to help a lot of people and a lot of teams and create those win-win situations that we're always looking for. So I'll hit you right after this. And on that note, of course, Web3 Job Ops powers these spaces. Make sure to follow them. We got roles open there as well. And that's our show, gang. A little longer today, but shout out to y'all for rocking with us. Apex, Ice World, Sun, Wind, Moon, Barbie, OG, Mr. Wonderfoo. I see Beautiful Thugger. Anybody listening to the recording here on X, on Spotify, or on YouTube, we appreciate y'all, man. We are here every Wednesday, every Friday at 12:30 p.m. Eastern, doing our best to fill this hour with as much value as possible, and it means the world when y'all show up and say what's up. So we'll be back soon. Until then, y'all know the drill. We appreciate you. We are rooting for you, and until next time, we will see you soon.